Why is the concept of personal greatness fraught with danger? Why do you have to control the big five: alcohol, drugs, sex, money, and power? Why do you have to control your ego? Or should you control your ego, that is, the worldly self? Is life ephemeral?
All of us, I think, at some point in life realize that we're free. We're totally free to develop in the direction that we want to do so. But I think then at that point you have to realize that even Julius Caesar, or Augustus Caesar, when he was marching in these triumphal marches, had a slave beside him, counseling him, "Remember, Caesar, thou art mortal," right? So in other words, we're all temporal beings. We are all going to die. And my vision of a successful life is one that you donate as much as you possibly can to the betterment of society. And of course, you benefit along the way, of course. But you know, these addictions we talk about, Luke, the five of them, you know, the money, power, sex, you know, things along this nature, you know. And I think that if we don't control this, we're setting ourselves up for an enormous loss. I mean, why did people in 1929 in the Great Crash commit suicide? Look, they committed suicide because they'd lost all their money. Now, you would think you could get money back again, but somehow they had become identified with their money. So if you become identified with your ego, let's say, for instance, you're very foolish, because it can all go away, Luke. You can all be brought to a humble level again, right? Many people have been, and many people do not come back from it. So my caution in that particular piece that I wrote was that be real, you know, and life is ephemeral. That's what I mean.
Who should decide if I am great?
Well, I always look at the models of two great men, really. One is Gandhi, right? Great man, but who never set out to be great, but who did set out to free people and ultimately free India. And I also think of the Dalai Lama, and he set out to protect Tibetan Buddhism to a very large extent, and he's been successful. Both these men have been successful in their lives, and they live extremely modest and extremely humble lives. I mean, this is not just for show. They actually are living this way. Gandhi died, I was at his museum in New Delhi, and Gandhi died, I believe, with 10 pieces of personal item. 10. Glasses, a bowl, a sari, and nothing. But he had freed India, you know. And I think in Gandhi it was a bit tragic, because at the end, when the partition came and all the murders that occurred, I think it was very difficult for him, being such a peaceful man, you know, and really hoping for the absolute best. And in the end, I guess in a way humanity let him down, or the times let him down. You know, I don't think that'll be the case with the Dalai Lama. Already whatever happens to him, that concept of the peaceful intention, you know, pacifism has really been, I think he's one of the great leaders, you know, Tolstoy to Gandhi, Gandhi to Martin Luther King to the Dalai Lama, in a sense, you know. So that's the path, Luke. You know, I think if you know great people, Luke, they don't have to tell you they're great. They have to show you. They don't have to wear a little badge, I am a great man. You know they're great. That's my concept of greatness. Look, the society makes you great. You cannot make yourself great, right? Give. Greatness is opened, I think, to you.
What is the disease of age? As an aged person, is my attitude to age also my responsibility?
Yeah, well, I think, I once again, I think that, you know, we're just all frail, humble human beings. And I think there is a movement, or has been a movement, that we've kind of demonized age, the concept of age, you know. And like when I was young, gosh, you know, it was pretty straightforward. You were going to be 40 or so, and you were going to get the disease of age, and you're finally going to gain some weight, of course, along the way, become an alcoholic probably, and then be expunged. And none of that's real. Look, it doesn't have to be at all. And I see this in myself. I'm fit, you know. I'm in 62, all of these things. So I think what I'm referring to is that a lot of people don't respect age for what it is. But conversely, look, a lot of aged people don't deserve respect either. I mean, it's the other side is equally true. I mean, how can you allow yourself to become a bloated mass of whatever? You know, you're not inventive, you're not creative, right? I mean, that's your concept. And young people look at this, and of course they vilify. You know, it's pernicious, isn't it? I mean, if you don't strive to be excellent at any age. I have a friend who's 90. Look, he's teaching art history twice a week. 90. You don't have to disappear. You got to contribute as you age, and if you don't, the young won't respect you.
Does everyone have a gift?
Well, my humble experience with life is that everyone has some gifts. Everyone. By being a human being, you have the gifts. You have the gifts of life, for starters, right? So I think that if you're at a certain socioeconomic level, and you don't know what your gifts are, I mean, do something as simple as get a piece of paper. The Ben Franklin method. My gifts, in one column you put what I'm good at, in the other column you put what I'm bad at, and you remove the ones, obviously, over time that they cancel out, don't they? And you end up with 3 or 4 by the time you finish university that you're good at. Perhaps you're good at something as simple as talking. You're good at thinking. You're good at languages. You're good at building. And we all have gifts, look. I don't believe that we're hollow vessels. Now, there is a certain percentage of the population that is not intelligent, period. And I grant you that they perhaps don't have values because they can't think about them. But they're a tiny portion of humanity overall.
As an aged person, is my attitude to age also my responsibility?
Well, yeah. What I do, is, and I think it is a problem for every being. Once you realize you're thinking and you're thoughtful and you're alive, I mean, you are attracted. People say, "Oh, that's a brilliant idea." It doesn't take much. The ego is stroked and it grows, But what I do, at least, is I look for the humble things, the things that make me very humble, the mistakes I make, or perhaps the clothing that's disheveled, or things along this nature, things that humble me on an ongoing basis. I had something occur the other day, look, that was quite almost amusing. I really try to believe increasingly in life, and I'm not a vegetarian, but I try to ensure that as much life around me continues to live. So we were on a field trip from one of the high schools, and they'd sprayed for cockroaches, and the cockroaches were everywhere, and the kids, some of the young students are screaming, and so I'm saying, "Oh no, come on now, it's unnecessary, they're just cockroaches." And I'm trying to nurture this one cockroach out the door of the shop, of the restaurant, a small restaurant. And as I'm doing this, the shop owner looks over at me kind of like this foreigner's absolutely mad, and he runs over and kills the cockroach. So here's my great explanation of life just been snuffed out, and I had no humility. I look for humility because we're all just frail beings, right? We have this bookend where consciousness has been given to us and it's going to be taken away, and we won't know it's taken away, look, right? Because it's, the opposite of life is not death, it's not, N-O-T. You're not, just like we were not before we were born. So that's what I kind of reflect on.